Most founders see this warning sign, keep moving, and then spend the next 2 years wondering what happened to their business. Stagnation doesn't arrive suddenly. It doesn't show up one morning without warning. It builds quietly, gradually, and it almost always signals in advance. So the question isn't whether the signs are there. The question is whether you're paying attention to the right things to see them. I'm Adewumi-Zer, founder and CEO of Zer Consultant Africa. In over 2 decades of working with scaling businesses across the continent, I've seen this pattern more times than I can count. A business that had every reason to keep growing, but stalled because the early signals were missed. In this final video of the Growth Ceiling series, I want to make sure that this doesn't happen to you. By the end of this video, you'll know the 3 warning signals that happen before a business stagnates, why these signals are so easy to dismiss in the moment, and exactly what to do when you recognize any of them in your organization. The first warning sign is that decisions take longer to make in your organization than they should. Not because the decisions are more complex, but because the structure for making them has become unclear. When a healthy business is growing, there's a rhythm to how things get decided. People know what they're empowered to handle and what needs to go upward. That rhythm keeps the business moving. When it breaks, when more and more things are waiting for one person, when the same types of decisions keep getting escalated, when meetings multiply but conclusions do not, that is a structure problem becoming a growth problem. Here's why this matters. Decision speed slows down before revenue slows down, which means if you're paying attention to how decisions are made within your business, you have time to act before the ceiling fully locks in. I've seen this exact bottleneck paralyze multi-million-dollar change agendas across multiple continents. Early on in the corporate turnaround I was leading, I noticed our project velocity was entirely stuck. On paper, our talent was elite. But in reality, seasoned managers were escalating basic entry-level operational choices right up to my desk. We were trapped in that classic corporate loop. Meetings to prepare for meetings, while execution crawled. The problem wasn't a lack of talent. It was that our decision-making floor plan was completely opaque. No one knew what they were allowed to handle without a signature. I had to step in and design a transparent matrix that mapped out clear decision rights. I explicitly told them, stop asking for my permission to win. The moment we cleared me as a structural bottleneck, our execution velocity skyrocketed. So if the team has to wait for your sign-off to keep the business moving, your structure is the stagnation trap. Now let's take a quick time out. If you want to know exactly where your business architecture is leaking, you don't have to guess. In my book, Afro Optimism Unleashed, I break out the entire operational blueprint from cover to cover. But you can audit your structural vitals right now. Click on the link in the description to take the Scale Your Business scorecard. In less than 5 minutes, you'll get a brutal data-backed diagnostic of your company's true structural limits. So grab your score, find your ceiling, and let's get back to the video. Now the second warning is subtle. Once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Your highest performing people start to disengage. They're still showing up, they're still completing their work, but they've stopped raising ideas. They've stopped pushing back in meetings. They've stopped bringing problems to the surface. This is almost always a signal that they've decided, consciously or not, that raising things doesn't change anything, that the business is not really open to the change they see is needed. And when your best people stop fighting for the business, that's because something in the structure or the culture has communicated to them that the fight isn't worth it. A compliant team will maintain a business. They won't grow the business. And a business full of people maintaining a bungalow will never grow into a skyscraper. Now the third warning is most difficult to name because it sits closest to the founder. The leader at the top of the business has quietly stopped seeking new perspectives. Not intentionally. It almost always happens gradually. The calendar gets busier. The external conversations get shorter. The reading, the research, the time spent in rooms with people who challenge your thinking, it quietly reduces. And because the business is still running, nobody says anything. But a business can only grow as far as the thinking at the top of it. You cannot build a skyscraper from a bungalow blueprint. And likewise, you can't lead a skyscraper organization on thinking that was designed for something smaller. The leaders who build beyond this are the ones who treat their development as a structural necessity, not a personal luxury. Across these 5 videos, we have covered the growth ceiling from every angle, what it is and why effort alone cannot break it, why successful strategies expire, why stable revenue can mask a business that's already losing ground. Now, the signals that appear before stagnation locks in. My message in all of this is the same. You cannot build a 50-story skyscraper on a bungalow floor plan. Growth ceilings are not caused by failure. They're actually caused by success that was never redesigned for the next level. And the leaders who break through are not the ones who never hit ceilings. They're the ones who see the ceiling coming and start raising it before it constrains them. So across all 5 videos in this series, which conversation described your business most closely? Was it the structural ceiling, the effort trap, the expired strategy, the revenue illusion, or the early warning signs? Tell me in the comments. Your answer tells you where your most urgent work is waiting. And if this series gave you a framework for a problem you've been carrying alone, give this video a like so I know that we're hitting the right level of depth. And to join our weekly strategy sessions on architecting the new Africa, please subscribe and ring the notification bell. Across this entire series, we've mapped the ceilings, the effort trap, and the illusions holding your business back. Now it's time to raise it. Click on the video on your screen right now, how to scale beyond yourself. We're going to walk step by step through the exact blueprint you need to move your company from founder-led hustle to an institutional powerhouse. Stop maintaining the bungalow. Let's start building your skyscraper. I'm Adewumi-Zer. This is what building in Africa actually looks like. I'll see you in the next one.